Alright, I'm about to head off on my next trip, and this time I'm heading to the Gold Coast. And it's a family reunion which we haven't had for 10 years. Christmas in July celebrations should be a lot of fun, and I'll have some footage from that. While I'm up there, I'll also be playing in a couple of tournaments at the, well, it's now the Star, and doing some other sightseeing as well. Then I head down to Sydney for 5 days, and I'll be starting up a new challenge called the Heritage Challenge. And the background on that is that back in 2015, Broken Hill was declared a National Heritage City, the only one in Australia. And but it got me to thinking how many other items there are on the National Heritage Register. It's a register of important places. And there's the answer to that is there's 124, and then I checked off the list as to how many I'd been to, and the answer to that is 21. So there's 103 more items to check off. So I'll be heading down to Sydney for 5 days, and I'll check off another couple of items which I'll show you. Now, just through good luck, there's a poker tournament series on there at the Star. So I get to play every day for 5 days, and we'll see how that goes. I don't get to play very often, so when I get the chance, I'll want to make the most of it, and I'll have a summary at the end of the video.
Well, the first part of the journey is the Outback Explorer to Sydney. It comes up every Monday and goes back every Tuesday. A mere 13 and a half hours, but it's nice and cheap, and I'm not in a hurry today. There's a fresh air stop at Ivanhoe, and this is the old jail which closed many years ago. I can actually stayed in one of these houses for a couple of nights when I was working down here for a weekend. Stop is Parks, which is the home of the radio telescope, and the local footy team is called the Parks Spacemen. I get a couple of lounge passes each year now, so last time I was here the lounge was overcrowded and staff were grumpy, so we'll see if that's improved. I was hoping there'd be runway views from the lounge, but it's very average. The food offerings here are very average. I think you can pay a fee to go in if you don't have an invitation, around $60, so that would be a hard no from me. So you queue up behind 6 people, and they give you a cappuccino in a cup the size of a thimble. In the Gold Coast hinterland, drive about 40 kilometres to the mountain resort of O'Reilly's in the Lamington National Park. Be aware it's an absolutely hair-raising drive though, so but very pretty. Look at this turkey. Alright, we're about to do the treetop walk. Should get some great views from up here. Alright, Michael, decision time. Left or right?
I think I'll go right.
Right? Are you mad? I say left. Oh, here's the display of family photos going way back.
It's a
Yeah. A bit stuffy inside.
Had a bad night, did you, Phil? Alright, and have a good day. Festivities are well underway. All the kids are out of control. It's Stephen's outfit, sponsored by Timu. So Trisha's gone to a lot of trouble. Everyone has their own identifying photo placement. Lunch is served.
Gingerbread man. You've got gingerbread on. There you go, my friend. Well done to you.
This is Donetsk from Russia.
There we go, we all got our answers. Put our answers up. Oh, we're all got What have we got, Ari?
Ari, what do you think?
C. What you got? You got C?
There we go. The correct answer is C. C. T, all of the above. Answers up.
Are you red card?
The correct answer is C. Trying to get Frank Sinatra. D, Elton John.
Stop looking at the table.
Donna,
We have evidence.
what's the answer?
We have evidence with this question.
Uh-oh.
The correct answer is A. Michael Jackson.
Oh.
It's so gross.
There we go.
Now it's time for another travel tip segment, and this time I want to talk about the Qantas frequent flyer program and whether it's still worth bothering within 2026. Now, back in the 1990s, the Qantas frequent flyer program was fantastic. It was easy to get a whole stack of points, and you didn't need to use that many points to get some great rewards. But like everything else to do with retail and consumers in general, it's the value has been well and truly eroded over the years. So the question is whether it's even worth bothering. From my experience, it really comes down to a matter of your personal circumstances. So there's two elements to this. First of all, you've got to look at what you're spending and how many points you could potentially earn. And in particular, look at your mandatory spending, things like fuel and groceries and rates and so forth. If you can pay for that on a points-linked credit card, you're going to pick up the points that you would have spent that money anyway. So that makes a lot of sense. The only proviso I wanted to watch out for is make sure that there's no credit card surcharge on what you're buying, and also that you've got to pay it off before the interest kicks in, otherwise you've lost your value. And then the other side of this is what you plan to use your points for. So whether you're planning an overseas trip, or you want to buy something, or interstate flights. Well, in my case, I'm using it for expensive regional flights, so I can value those points accurately at about 3.5 cents per point. So when you calculate that all up, and if I look at my own case, my own spending, the points are worth about $1,000 a year in value, so absolutely worth doing for me, but for a lot of people it may not be worth bothering, but that's the way it is with that program. Okay.
Well, today I've come into Brisbane for a couple of reasons. It's a beautiful day, 21 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, and also the transport here in southeast Queensland is flat fares at 50 cents everywhere, and that's permanently fantastic initiative that is. Just stacks of apartment blocks along the Brisbane River now. It's starting to look more like Hong Kong. Alright, so I mentioned at the start that I was starting up a heritage challenge. Over the coming years I'll be visiting as many of the heritage listed sites in Australia as possible, and I've got a couple lined up for this trip. So for New South Wales, I've already been to a number of places, and the list here in no particular order is the city of Broken Hill, of course, the Sydney Harbour Bridge, the Sydney Opera House, Bondi Beach, Greater Blue Mountains, the Australian Alps, the Parkes Radio Telescope, Old Government House in Parramatta, the Royal National Park, the Queen Victoria Building, and Centennial Park. So that's 11 items in New South Wales that I've already ticked off. So as I mentioned, 2 more to cover on this trip, and eventually I'll get through all 124, but I think the list is probably going to keep growing too. Oh, this time I'm staying at the Mercure Central Station. I've never stayed here before, but it's a really good handy spot and a really nice hotel. What is nice to see is the clock tower at Central Station with just the one flag flying above it, as it should be. Okay, so the next heritage listed site is Hyde Park Barracks in the city, and it's not just a National Heritage Site, it's a World Heritage. Well, these are the barracks themselves. There's No video allowed inside. Well, that was a really good thing to do. Tour was well organised and free to do, so be a bargain at twice the price, I reckon. Well, across from the barracks is St James Church that was built by the convicts back in 1820. Well, here's a nice touch inside the room. There's a print here of pretty much from this exact spot. I'm figuring about probably about 1900. There's no cars at that stage, only horse and buggy, and of course the trams, which were replaced and then decades later returned at millions of dollars of cost. And even Central Station back then, the clock tower hadn't been built, so really old photo. Well, this is the Grand Concourse, which I've never found that grand. The food options here are not great, and there's nearly half a dozen lights that they couldn't be bothered to replace the bulbs. But the one thing that shocked me last night when I came back was that there was a dozen of these homeless people camped inside the station, and just really shocked me because this is a country where through a complex web of 125 different taxes we pay about half of all our money to the government, and we've got people sleeping in train stations in greater numbers than I've ever seen. It's shocking. Down at Circular Quay now, this beautiful old building is Customs House. And this building is the old AMP Tower. Used to be one of the most impressive coming in on the ferry back in the 70s. Well, when this building was put in at Circular Quay, it was controversial at the time, called the Toaster. It really spoilt the view out over the harbour. Well, now, 30 years later, there's a whole row of them. All the way along. Well, the Shangri-La Hotel would have fantastic views, of course, but last time I looked, the room rate was about $700 a night. So anyone that pays that, completely mad. Waste of money. Here's my ride coming in to head over to Manly. Garden Island naval yards there. Here's the famous Sydney Heads. I've headed off on many great adventures through here. So the next Heritage Challenge item to tick off is the North Head, and there's a walking trail to a viewing point. Looks pretty easy. Well, this is well done. At the start of the walkway they've got names of fallen soldiers engraved into the footpath. It's really well done. Alright, made it all the way to the lookout point. Very windy, of course, as you'd expect. 238 years ago that the first fleet came through the mouth here, and they must have barely believed what they were seeing. The natural harbour, one of the greatest in the world. And I lived in Sydney for around 40 years and never bothered to come here, and it's a bit crazy because it's a fantastic spot. It's a magnificent cliff face heading north. And beyond this cliff face, the next stop is New Zealand. Just through pure good fortune, there's a French food festival on at Circular Quay. So we'll be having a beautiful lunch today. It's Customs House behind the stage. Starting with grilled scallops in a white wine cream sauce. Now trying the French onion soup. Alright, main course is mussels in that white wine sauce with chips. Beautiful. I thought I'd investigate a little more the origins of this great photo, trying to narrow down the date range. And using the clues in the photos, I've been able to get pretty close. So, as I mentioned before, there's no clock tower. The clock tower at Central was built in 1921, so we know it's before that. But this building here, this is the parcels post of the Postal Service. And that was built in 1913. So based on that, we know that there's the range between 1913 and 1921. It still blows me away how similar the layout is, but you know, the fact that there's no vehicles because they were only a pipe train back then. Alright, that's it for this family reunion and poker trip. All that's left now is for the summary of the poker results. I ended up playing in 8 tournaments, 3 on the Gold Coast. I had a minor cash up there. And then when I came to Sydney, the main tournament I wanted to play in was the main event, which was a $1,500 buy-in. I didn't want to pay that amount, so I played in a satellite on Wednesday and actually won that, so got free entry into the main event. From that point on though, it all went wrong. I played 4 more tournaments, and in every one there was just bad results. Just sometimes your draws all miss and your bluffs get called and your best 2 pair gets riveted, and that was the story. But not to worry. Overall a loss of around $1,800, part of the cost of the holiday. So I do have some fantastic trips planned for next year, and if you like following my cruises and poker trips, just hit the notification button, and that way when I do one of my infrequent videos, you'll get to see it come up. That's it for now.